We're here with Mark Parson and the guest of the hour, special guest Dash Jones, here with family. How you doing today, Dash?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for being on the show. I think you're going to be one of our most popular guests. You just getting into who you are and what you're doing right now. I mean, you're currently how old are you currently?
Just turned 13,
Okay, and you what class are you currently?
2029.
2029. So you're currently the number one ranked cornerback, and you're probably the number one ranked athlete overall player in your class. Um, I'm sure that comes with I mean, it comes with a lot of notoriety, but does it come with any pressures? Does it come with any pressures having that label on your back every time you step on the field?
Not really. It's really normal, and I can handle it. So I just go out there every time and perform, do what I do.
Do players do your teammates or do opposing players treat you any differently? Do you feel like you know that they whenever they play you that you feel like you're getting your best? Do you feel anything different about how teams play you versus maybe how they play a different team or a different player?
Well, when they go against me, they give it their all because they're trying to make a name off themselves off of me. So, and there's a lot of hate from them. So, yeah, that's
What
really
what do you typically get? What do you mean by hate?
well. They'll talk about my offers and just say, "I get it because my dad," but it's because I put in the work. But they think they call me small, but then I go out there and cook them. So then,
Hey, so Dash. So the interesting thing is, I played 3 years in the NFL
mm-hmm.
and played with your dad. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, like being on, having you on the show, I'm more excited to have you on the show than anything, man. Because if you keep this up, I mean, like D said, number one in your class, and you keep working hard. I mean, we're gonna look back at this and be like, "Hey, D, remember when we had the number one dude in the country when he was 13?" So D, and Dash, I want to ask you this: what are you doing to constantly improve? Like, what is a day, a routine in Dash's life, uh, to where you're improving your skills? What do you do in your day?
Well, Mondays I have weightlifting training, and then I have DB Island, which is just DB training, and then Tuesday I have like core workouts and stuff. Sometimes I got DB training, and then Wednesday I have off season training. That's just a bunch of like conditioning and speed and stuff like that. Thursday I got more core workouts, and I'll get some DB stuff in that day. And Friday, I have positional work, so it's offense and defense.
Oh, that's awesome. So you play cornerback, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Do you play offense at all?
yeah. I play wide receiver and DB.
So what do you like more?
I like corner more. It's more active and it's a lot more fun.
So one thing I heard you say multiple times was core. And you'll have grown men at the gym who will go years without touching core. So you said it multiple times, and I agree that core is very important. So where did that come from? Where did that mindset that okay, core is a very important part of my workout and or of my development, and how, how have you seen that help your game?
Well, it gets me. I have more balance when I work my core, and it makes you stronger, and you can be faster with your core. It works together with everything. So
And another thing I noticed is that having a schedule, like you were able to recite that schedule, um, you know, pretty quickly. And I will tell you, as a guy who played D1 myself, like this is your schedule is something that I wish I had, you know, as a high schooler. So you're not even in high school. And like I said, it's a big salute to you that you already have a very detailed workout regimen. And a lot of what Mark likes to preach is, be what you want to be now. And Mark, you can go into that.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the interesting thing about you, Dash, is that you've been exposed to the highest level since you were born, man. Um, so how has that played a role in your development? Like, your dad, he's your coach, he's been your coach for since you were little, right?
Yeah.
So how has that helped you compared to you think other people who haven't been exposed to high level football in your opinion?
Well, since my dad, since he played in the NFL, he trains me a lot. He knows what I have to do to make it to the next level. Gives me great advice, and he helps me train with my DB stuff. And yeah, he's a great role model for me.
That's awesome, man.
So my dad trained me, but I wouldn't say it was at the level that you're getting. But we sometimes bumped heads just naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, I don't want to do this today. Dad, I don't think this is the right way. Mr. Mark told me that this is a better way. So, has it always been, have you always been, receptive to everything he's given? Maybe you didn't understand why you needed to wake up at a certain time. Maybe you didn't understand why you needed to do this and do that. Has it always been, a peaceful, uh, I guess, partnership with you two in terms of the training? I'm sure the father son relationship is strong, but a lot of times when it's player coach and it happens to be father son at the same time, sometimes you may disagree on certain things.
Yeah.
So how has your relationship been as a teacher, uh teacher player?
Well, sometimes I have some disagreements, but most of the time I'm usually down for whatever work it gives me, just so I know I gotta get better.
Mhm.
Hey, so Dash, you were born in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
All right, so but you live in Washington State now, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Who's your favorite NFL team right now?
Saints. My
Okay,
favorite.
still the same. Okay, that's awesome. Now, I want to get into these. If I don't know if you're allowed, but I want to get into these college offers, man. Like, I'm what I'm thinking like is when I was 17. See, I didn't get any top offers when I was coming out of high school. I actually had to go to prep school, which is it was called Fort Union Military Academy for a year. And then I got a scholarship to Ohio University, which is in the MAC conference. It's in Ohio,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So I struggled. Now you are in middle school, 13-year-old, and you have offers. So can you first of all, can you tell some of the guys maybe who are younger than you or even older than you, like how are you getting these offers?
Well, you gotta keep working. You gotta stay focused on what you want. You just gotta do what you do. Go out there, have some confidence, and just ball out.
Nice. And you play. So how does it work? I'm an older guy, man. How does it work nowadays? Is it 7-on-7? Is it youth league? Is it AAU football? How does it I don't know much about it, how it works. So can you explain these tournaments and stuff that you're playing in where you getting exposure?
Well, right now I'm in a 7-on-7 season, and there's like these big tournaments you go to called like either Red Zone or Battle, and yeah, and Pylon, and those are the big tournaments where everybody's out watching and you're going against teams from all over the place. So if you perform against all of them, then you can get some good exposure from.
What are some cities that you've traveled to play ball so far?
I've been to Texas, Florida, Cali, uh, Arizona. Uh, I've been lots of other places, but New Orleans too. But
Okay.
Okay. And what's been what's been like the hardest state when it comes to competition level for football, in your opinion?
Uh, I say either Georgia or Florida.
That makes sense.
Okay, okay. Georgia and Florida. So, why those states? What are they doing differently? How are they playing versus a Texas or California?
Well, Florida and Georgia, they just got a lot of straight athletes. They don't really have technique to them, but they're really athletic and really big. Then yeah, they play with like a different mindset, and yeah, if we ever come out flat, it's gonna be hard to win the game.
Hmm. Okay. And so going back to the offers, so a lot of people don't understand, what an offer at your age may mean, and I'm not even fully, I'm not even fully aware. So you're 13 and you get an offer. Can you explain what that means to you and the process of um, having that offer now, and having that offer when you're ready to commit, when you're 17, 18 years old?
Oh, I'm really glad I got these offers, but so how I got my first one from Miami, I went down to a camp out there when I was in like sixth grade, and there's some like eighth graders out there. I did some 1-on-ones against them. I was winning, and the coach was impressed with me. So he said he wanted to give me an offer, and that was I was really happy when that happened. But
Wait,
then,
Dad,
huh?
sorry. Did you just say Miami? Are you talking about the U?
Yeah.
What? Man, that was my dream school coming out of high school, man. Hey, that's impressive, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, keep
Thank
going.
you.
Awesome. Keep going.
All right. And Vanderbilt, I didn't really know the coach too well, but he said he watched my film and he said I can play, so he liked what I could do, and he offered me.
So so is this a so how are the how is the communication with you and the coach, because it is a long time between getting that offer and then when you're actually able to commit. So what is that relationship, or what is the coaches asking from you, um you know right now, in terms of, are they telling you, hey, we just want to keep following your journey. Hey, wherever I go, it doesn't matter if I'm at Vanderbilt, if I lose my job and I end up at Florida State, if I lose my job and I end up at Ohio State, I want you. So what is the conversation like?
Well, the Miami coach, he said wherever he's at, then he'll still want me, and he actually went to a school like last year, but I forgot where it was.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's some cool coaches. I vibe with them pretty good, but yeah, really it.
Okay. So it's about relationships. It's about
Yeah,
relationships.
Right.
Hmm.
So Dash, what is it going to take for me to get you to Ohio University, man?
I don't know about that one.
Oh,
Maybe Ohio State, but
Ohio State, man, they're done, man. They're over with. They're finished. Old news, man.
Now, speaking of Ohio State, so Mark, there's this kid. He went to Stillicum, and you're very close. You're very close with. I don't know him personally, but
a Mecca.
yeah, Mecca. Like, what is I know that he's homegrown in the air program. He's doing well at Ohio State, Mark, and he's probably going to be first rounder next year. Um, so Dash, can you talk about your relationship with him, what you may have learned, his influence on you?
Uh, well, he's a really great receiver, and he's a cool person. I learned some stuff from him. I look up to him, so I'll look at some of his moves. I'll take some of them, and when he comes back home, he'll give us some advice of how to make it to the next level. And yeah, so our relationship is really good.
Okay. And what type of advice is it? Is it more, hey, these are the drills you need to do, or hey, this is how you need to think. Is this how your grades need to be? What type of advice is he giving you that you think would help a kid watching this?
Well, it's really about he tells us about like the mindset of like how you have to get there, he tells us like what like certain things you should be doing in your life, like putting in the work, the extra work and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. And would you say, um, what type of mental training, if any, are you doing? Because, like you said, if I'm a kid from Florida, Georgia, and I see Dash from the West Coast, because Mark, they don't think West Coast we can play ball, especially Pacific Northwest. So how do you mentally prepare to go into these situations? You know, already knowing, one, you have a target on your back. Two, you have to perform, and for you, it's not good enough to be, good. You have to be great. So what type of pregame or before the game or the night before the game, what type of mental training do you go through to get yourself in the best position to perform?
Um, I always remember that I have a target on my chest, and there was whenever they go against me, they're gonna give it their all because they're trying to beat me and make a name of themselves. And yeah, I just know I do what I gotta do, and I'm from New Orleans, so if they're from the South, it's the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing.
Has it can you tell us a time where you weren't able to perform at your best, where it didn't go the way you wanted it to go? And you may have felt that, you didn't live up to your not their expectations of you, but your expectations of yourself, and how you may have bounced back from that.
For 90 year, we went out to Florida, and we got both games. We got beat like 21-0 and then 28-0. It was a bad game for all of us, but that was earlier in the season, so it was about what you have to do at nationals. So a few months later, we ended up going to the national championship. There was 4 games. We ended up winning it. We we came out strong, and we did not come out flat at all. I did really good. I had way better games than the earlier season, preseason.
Okay. Okay.
Hey,
And go
that
ahead.
speaking about uh region and location and area, I know you're born in New Orleans, Dash, but you're living in the state of Washington. I was extremely shocked to see Washington in the national championship because we're like, man, they don't even play football out on the West Coast. Like, what? These a bunch of pretty boys, But that was extremely impressive. So, like, I mean, what did you think about? Did you watch the national championship game with Michigan?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
I
what
watched.
you being that you living and you growing up in that state? Like, how did that feel watching that team play and represent where you're from, man? What your opinion of that game?
It was great because it put Washington on the map more. It pretty sure it made some people realize we can play ball out here, and it's not just those southern states that can.
That's awesome.
Are you because I mean, I know when I grew up, Washington was the place I wanted to every kid wanted to go to the University of Washington. How do you feel about the University of Washington? I know it's gone through some changes in the last week.
Hmm.
But I feel like Washington gets a new coach probably, every 4 years or so. Is
Yeah.
Washington a school is that's on your radar as far as schools you potentially want to go to? How do you feel about the university?
I mean, I haven't really been a fan of them this year.
Mm.
Uh, well, uh, like a year or two ago, I used to like them because I like their coaching staff. I I knew them pretty well, and they were some cool coaches. But we'll see what they do this year, and I might like them again.
That's rare. That's rare because most kids want to go to UW. So what are and this is not a commitment list. This is just general, being a fan of a university. Like, for instance, when I was growing up, I wanted to go to North Carolina because of the colors, like not because of the football program. Like I was like, oh, Michael Jordan went there. I like their football uniforms. I want to go there. So this isn't a commitment. This isn't a top five. But just out of general interest, like what are the schools that you were interested in?
All right, so I like Ohio State, Oregon, uh, LSU. I like Georgia, and the last one's kind of hard.
No, no, those are good enough. It gives me a good kind of gauge of, the brands that you're interested in. And I mean, you're a brand yourself. By the time that you get into college, I don't know where NIL is going to be. Um,
Mm.
it's gonna be pretty crazy. So as far as um, you the next, let's just talk about the next couple of years. Have you given any thought into which high school you're gonna go to? Because with you being who you are, that's just as big of a commitment as you committing to college, to be honest.
Well, I'm going to Puyallup High School,
Puyallup.
and
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And why Puyallup? That, like, Mark, that's how
Hmm.
can I put this, Mark? It's I can understand why. It's it's not a typical choice. I will say that. It's not a typical choice. But why Puyallup Dash?
um, well, first of all, we live pretty close to there,
Okay.
and they have some they have some really good coaches, and it's a 4A school, so 4A is the biggest out here, and yeah, we're having it's like pretty neutral area, so lots of people can come, and people from our team will go to Puyallup together.
Okay. Okay. Um
Hey Dash,
Hmm.
do you play any other sports?
Uh, I do basketball and track.
Okay, so you run track. So what events do you run in track?
I haven't really been running lately, but last year I had some knee problems, but uh, I'm doing jumps. I'm doing long jump, triple jump, and some high jump.
Okay.
how do you feel those two sports have helped you in, as a receiver? I mean, as a football player, receiver, DB.
Well, yeah, track it gets you like faster, stronger. It gets you in shape for sure, especially the practices because you got to do a lot in the practices, and yeah, it just prepares you for. Because I have to run a lot. Got to go straight from offense to defense. So yeah, it works together pretty good.
Okay. And what about just kind of technique? So me personally, I felt that playing basketball helped me as a corner. Um, I feel like the movements are pretty similar in terms of being able to stay in front of somebody. So how can you say, or how has, like, the specific movements or technique may have transferred over for you, if at all?
So for basketball, yeah, like you said, makes you better DB because you can cover the point guard, or whatever, dribbling down the court, and be aggressive with it, like get some steals and like hustling down back the court. So you're like running and you're going to block shots. Like it's like going up for the ball.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So when you go into college, and this is, or not college, when you go into high school, how does that change, if any? Does that change kind of your you playing for or playing with your dad? Because you're gonna go into, a coaching staff who's gonna coach you the way they see fit. How does that change kind of your year round ability to kind of play with your dad?
Oh, hold on, wait. What was the question? I
So when you go to high school, you're going to be around, a whole new coaching staff,
mm-hmm,
and I'm assuming you're not going to be able to do as much of the maybe the spring football. I'm not
mm-hmm.
sure. I'm not sure. Um, but how will that change how much air stuff you do? Is what I'm asking. How would that change how much air stuff you do, or does it change anything?
doesn't really change nothing because I'm always there, and we still have our little off season training in there, so for youth and high school. So I'm always come back, and I always get to see everybody. And we have air 7-on-7, so we play with everybody in the program. So
Okay. Okay.
Now, yeah, I overheard your dad saying earlier, Dash, that you guys at your last tournament played up, so you played against older guys.
yeah, that was this morning. So yeah, we
So that's really good, um, especially since you're soon going to be going into high school, playing against guys who are better than you, or more skilled, or older. Obviously, at this age, is a big difference from 13 to 15. You know, guys hitting puberty. So you know, there's going to be, I would say this, there's going to be some pain with that, you know? It's going to be a
yeah,
high level competition. Um, would you say that you're mentally ready to take some L's? And I say L as in learning lessons so that you can grow. Like, is that something you're ready for, you think, mentally?
100%. I've already experienced some of it in youth ball, so
Right.
yeah, I'm prepared for it.
Okay. What are your, if any, what are your expectations for your freshman year? Whether it be um, how much you want to weigh, how much you want to play, and whether that be JV, whether that be varsity. A lot of kids, you know, go into their freshman year and they're right on the freshman team. So what are your expectations for your freshman year, and what are your goals for your freshman year?
Well, obviously, be on varsity, and I want to get invited to the Under Armour All American game.
Okay, and they do that for freshmen, the Under Armour American game that early.
Eighth grade actually, eighth grade.
Okay, okay,
Do they
and go
Nike
ahead.
opening? Do they still have that stuff?
What'd you say? You cut out a little bit.
The uh the Nike opening camps, the Nike camps, do they still do those in the summer?
I'm not really sure. I don't really know what those are like that.
What's the top camp that guys go to, Dash? Do you know? 'Cause I don't know anymore. Do you
Uh,
know?
Under Armour. I know the
Yeah,
Under Armour.
I think Under Armour went and stole that. From what I've seen, I haven't seen too much Nike. It used to be the opening, but I haven't seen. I don't think Nike ever did a game, like a padded game. Maybe I think it was just all kind of combine one-on-one stuff. And I'm not sure if the what is that the military game. What was that military game they used to do? That was real
Army
big.
Bowl.
Yeah, the Adidas game.
Oh, it's Adidas. Oh, okay, yeah. See, I never got that close, so I never I never really paid attention. But
Yeah,
okay,
that's where Emeka went.
okay. Um,
And so, Dash,
so yeah, go
um,
ahead. No, go ahead. I'll
I
edit
was
it out.
Dash. Are grades important to you with like academics?
100%. Because I know if I don't have good grades, I can't get into colleges like Ohio State or like Oregon or any of those top colleges. So I make sure I focus on my grades. I put those before everything.
Mhm.
Student athlete.
Gotcha.
Hey man, you're a smart dude, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
amazing.
I want
Keep
to get I want to get back to NIL because that's all anyone's thinking about, and that's all you know college kids are thinking about. That's all high school kids are thinking about. Is that something you think about, and what does that necessarily mean to you? Because everyone seems to have a different interpretation. Some people feel like, hey, when I commit to your school, you give me this amount of money. Some people feel like, okay, a person like myself, person like Dash, who has a huge following, with a good team behind him, not team that's suiting up for you, but the team working in the background, your dad, your mom, the Air brand. I'm able to, make money off of that. Is that something that you guys have talked about? Is that something you think about, the whole NIL? Uh, situation in college sports right now?
Well, not really. It'll happen when it happens, but uh, I would commit to where it's best fit for me, as far as like the coaches, just the environment around there.
Gotcha.
Okay, I got a question for you, Dash. This may be a tough one, but you let me know, okay?
Hmm.
I know you still haven't even gone to high school yet, but since we're talking about college, um, we got the transfer portal. So when your dad, and I play college football, you transfer portal wasn't there, and it was very challenging to transfer. So let's say this: you come into a college your freshman year, and the guy is a senior, and he happens to be better than you. Do, do you, in your opinion, would you transfer to find a different opportunity, or would you try to beat the guy out? Like, what kind of
Nah,
competitive?
I'm gonna go beat him out. I'm gonna go compete with him. I'm gonna prove to the coaches that I'm a better option. That I'm better than him. He might go play on the other side, but I'm gonna take his spot.
I love it. Got you.
Okay.
D, what
Let's.
would you do? Okay, hey D, what would you do in that situation?
I mean, it's hard because I came up in a place where like you were stuck, So I my natural thing is to compete because I didn't have many opportunities. So it's not like, okay, if I transfer from Hawaii, like where was I gonna go? I was gonna go to Central. So so like I was never that guy that had the option, and I was always smaller. So being Dash kind of said that himself, when you're a smaller guy, it's like that's being competitive is the minimum. Like you have to walk into every situation being competitive. That's not even a question. You don't even get that far, being our size,
Hmm.
being
Well,
that.
I'll tell you this. This is a story for Dash, and I don't know if I told you this, D, but Dash. So I was at Ohio University. I had a decent freshman year. I started at nickel, but I didn't start at corner. And then my sophomore year, I was coming in, and I was supposed to be the guy. And I was playing well in spring ball. And then I was going into the season. Well, right before the season, we had this tall guy. He was fast and athletic. He was coming. He got kicked out of school at Virginia Tech. Have you heard of Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I
Okay,
know
so
that.
back then, Virginia Tech was like number 3 in the country. They were really good. They're not good now.
Wow.
This guy came over to our school, never played. Well, he he never even played a down at our school. Like, didn't even get on the field yet. And our coach came to me and the other guy and was like, "Hey, look, we're gonna give him one corner spot." And we're like, "Dude, he didn't even earn it." So they basically gave him my spot because the other guy was a senior. They gave this guy who didn't even play, he didn't earn it, just my spot. And I'm like, oh man. So he ended up starting the first couple games of that season, but I just kept working, man. And I made sure I graded out better than him every game. And then the coach was like, you know what? That's what they used to call me. My last name is Parson. They said,
Hmm.
grading out dag near the best out of everybody every game. So they ended up starting me, and then we played Illinois. I ended up having one of the best games of my career, and I was a starter from that point on. So I think it's very important when those hard times come. You just got to dig down and figure it out. You got to figure it out. You got to work. You're like, man, I got to figure out how can I improve, coach. What do I need to do? Give me feedback instead of just necessarily just giving up. Just like because it's going to prepare you for the NFL. If you're
Yeah,
going to the NFL, the NFL is 10 times harder. Like it's hard.
facts.
So that's my advice to you, man. Just keep
Okay.
working. Always fight, man. Always fight.
Okay. Yeah, and
Appreciate
I wanna kind of end this with one final just kind of topic. So when you went to your schools, okay, you mentioned the big brands, but there's a school, that's Saints colors, that's Air colors, and it has a certain coach that is a brand in itself that you didn't mention, Deion Sanders. So
it.
because a lot of players are interested, a lot of players in your age are interested in what he's selling. What is your opinion on Colorado, and Deion Sanders as a coach? Is that something that you're drawn to as a player? Um, or are you more interested in uh, the traditional programs?
Well, Dion's my favorite player of all time, so
Okay.
it would be cool to play for him. But I mean, he's like recruiting. He's like I feel like he doesn't really care about the kids as much because he keeps on getting more and more and more people. And yeah, I don't really know. I would probably consider it, but it's not like one of my top schools or anything right now.
Okay. So you from your perspective, um, it's hard for you to see yourself going there because he's only recruiting from the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody's like trying to leave from there and stuff, and it's kind of a weird program, but I like Dion a lot though. It would be
Okay.
cool to play with him.
Yeah, and we all. I mean, I met Dion through coaching under. Well, I never met Dion because he wasn't shaking hands, but I saw Dion through coaching under Reggie, and then Mark, you have a unique story with him as well.
Yeah, Dion. When I was going into the NFL, I was at his combine training camp. It was called Prime U,
hmm
reality TV show. It was pretty cool. I like Dion. Dion's a cool guy, man. He's a cool guy.
Okay. And my final question, Mark. Let me know if you have any. Dash as far as, and I know we're looking really ahead, but what type of uh, what type of I guess offense or defense. So I mean, I know you like being corner. So when it comes down to scheme, where do you feel like you're best? I know, um, being able to play everything is the best, but where is your skill set able to be utilized the best? What type of system would you like to play in as a defensive back? And then just as a coach, as a personality, from a head coach, what type of coach are you uh, most interested in playing for? What qualities, what leadership qualities, uh, maybe what background of coach would you be most interested in playing for?
Well, I like a coach that has some energy to him, and I feel like from like a scheme, I'd like if it's like a mix of man and zone because I can really do it all. I'm a smart football player. I got really great technique, but yeah, it's just just if the coach is if he's just a good coach, I like him.
Okay, Mark, what do you got?
Man, hey Dash, incredible job, man. You're on your way. Just keep a good attitude. You keep a good attitude and focus on developing, man. Develop like every day. Develop, develop, develop. That's what your focus should be on. And I think you have the pedigree, you have the athleticism, you have the DNA. Let's keep it going, man. So thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate it, coach.
Yeah, yeah, and if you please, because we're gonna push this out to kids all over the world. There's kids in Africa. There's kids in Germany. There's kids in the U.S. who are going to see this interview, and they're going to you know they're going to want to do core. They're going to want to run track and jump. They're going to run and play basketball. So, can you give just a word of advice to the kid that's looking to be where you are?
But just stay focused on your journey. Just make sure you stay focused on your goal and just keep on working. Just don't you gotta get some extra work in. You can't just sit around all day, play video games, and expect to just be a baller like that. You gotta do the little things.
What's up, guys? This is Mark Parson, former NFL football player of the Houston Texans and New Orleans Saints, and now I'm with the DB Network. So at the DB Network, guys, we're building a network of DBs, but more so the whole family, the coaches, the teachers, the parents, everything that you need to be successful as a defensive back, really in life. I've helped guys who are currently playing in the NFL. I've helped guys get to the next level from high school to college. And then even if a person's just trying to improve their skills to start on their high school team, youth team, maybe a parent wants to know how this business is. This is what you need. Especially nowadays, guys, you got the whole NIL. There's an opportunity for people to change their lives financially, but you got to really hustle in high school. We have over 50 drills, press man techniques, weight program, nutrition program, mental program. I'm talking speed training, catching series, video series, everything you need to be elite.